This is McCook's Mr. Bill. It's an honor to have you here. Well, this is the 4th of July week, and that means that there's going to be fireworks, a lot of smoke though, and a lot of mirrors. So these old smoke and mirror concept, I'm here to tell you, we're going to see if we can get rid of that and give you the lowdown on how to save some money on this holiday. And also, you're looking at my corn. That's chest-high corn, the week of the 4th of July in 2014. So on this 4th of July, how are you going to save money? How are you going to save money? Without question, the holidays are a tough time. Christmas is legendary for people wasting money and going into debt almost for the entire next year just to pay off the holiday Christmas buying that they did. And most of the time what they buy, the people either didn't want, didn't need, and all most people want in the holidays is just to be with their family and their friends. Just to be with them is all the gift they need. But let's talk about 4th of July. I have, every year, people come up to me, young people, and they'll say, I've got $300, I'm going to buy fireworks. The largest one I had this year so far said I've got $700 and pulled out $100 bills to prove it. $700 that he was going to spend on fireworks. I point out with a bucket of common sense, I said, I'm not going to take your fun away from you, but what I suggest you do is to take half of the money you're going to spend on fireworks, take half of it and put it in your pocket, and go enjoy the other half, and you'll find the day after, with all the noise is gone and the smoke is cleared, that you will still have a pocket full of money that you can do something that might actually last, or might actually get you something that you want, or transportation. There's all sorts of things that you can do if you keep the money in your pocket and not blow it. Now some people will just condemn the young people saying, it's the modern age, these kids, they waste their money, they don't know nothing. But in fact, in the early 1800s, when the mountain men would go up in the mountains and trap beaver for a year, maybe two, they'd come down to the rendezvous where the whiskey peddlers and everything would trade them out of their furs for whiskey, maybe a wild woman or two, gamble, and they'd lose everything in just a few days, and then they'd head back up into the mountains penniless to go trap beaver again. And that is their mindset. We, in this modern age, need to get past that mindset. For example, myself. Now, when I come to a holiday like the 4th of July, and it's very important. Why? Well, it's when the stores start changing out and getting rid of the products that they have in their store to make room for the school products that they want to bring in and sell to the public. And so they're willing to cut the price on things. They're willing to cut the price. And that is where a poor man's dollars can go a lot further. Now this started out at a $1 cooler. I said $1. They then marked it down to 50 cents. And finally this week they marked it down to 25 cents for styrofoam coolers. And you'd say, well, why would you want $2 worth? Why would you want that? What good is it? Well, they're easy to stack and put away till you need them. But next spring, I can put out my plants early as I always do, and instead of setting a tin can on them, hoping that the frost won't go through that tin can, which isn't a very good insulator, I can now use styrofoam. Set a rock on it on top of the plant, and rest assured, late frost will not get it. A late frost will not get it. Also, as long as they're small, this is about a 2-gallon size, that's almost a foot high, any hailstorm that would come along, unless it was really severe, you could set that on and protect your plants from the hail. All sorts of things, and on a basis that it should last 20 years, that means you're going to be having an insurance policy to protect your plants when they're small for 1 penny a year. Hard to beat that. Hard to beat that. I had a store manager out here, a grocery store. I walked in one day and he said, here comes the cherry picker. And I said, what's that? And he said, well, a cherry picker, somebody comes in and just buys the stuff that's on sale. And I said, well, I'm not a rich man. And I said, I got to make my dollars do more work than a rich man's dollars. And so what I do is I watch for the bargains. And I said, instead of putting my $100, for example, in the bank and getting $1 at the end of the year, I can buy throughout the year with that $100, and with a little bit of luck, I'm going to buy $200, maybe $300 worth of product, doubling or tripling my original $100. And I did it tax-free. The income tax didn't have a chance at it. Those kind of things equal the playing field ever so slightly and help me out. So needless to say, the 4th of July is fireworks time. And I don't condemn, if I can get it to light here. Maybe I can't get it to light. There we go. But maybe it's time to get rid of the smoke and the mirror of holidays and tell yourself that there's a better way. There's a better way, and saving is a great time to be done during holidays. Rate this film.